What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting these possibilities for you to consider, enabling you to come up with your own conclusions. Ladies and gentlemen, code breakers around the world, wherever you may be, my name is Logan. I'm going to be your tour guide for this presentation on the breakdown, on the decode of the newly crowned head of over 1.4 billion with a B people around the world, the Christian Catholic Church. It is Pope Leo XIV. This will be Pope Leo XIV Decoded. The image that I have created here is kind of a blend of what's coming on the world stage. To the right, this of course is a lion, right? Why is this Pope Leo? Why would they name him Pope Leo? Well, then we have to the left, we have the cyborg. We have man, woman merging with machine. This is the symbiotic relationship from an astrological perspective of Aquarius and Leo. They sit right across from each other. House number 5 for Leo, house number 11 for Aquarius. And wait till I show you the astrological chart for this newly crowned Pope. Put on a pair of headphones, ladies and gentlemen. Block out the outside world. We're going to show you, and I'm going to throw everything at you in the kitchen sink. So when you take a look at the Vatican news, the newly crowned Pope, he is the 267th Bishop of Rome. He is currently 69 years young, which is fascinating because the Vatican is a mirror of that. Vatican City is officially, when it became its own sovereign state, 96. So we literally have a mirror of one another, which to me is a really big deal when it comes to numbers in the code breaking world. And then we have his biography on Wikipedia. His name is Robert Francis Prevost. And if you want to do his full numerology with his mother's maiden name, he's going to have Martinez here. Mildred Martinez is his mother. He is the first United States Pope. And he is the first Augustine Pope, as it states right here. So there's a lot of clues in here. I was waiting for this to drop to see exactly what's going on. The 267 is tied to the number 104, which I promise you is tied to Isaiah 14 verses 12. If you don't know what that scripture is, you probably should go read that. That's going to be a Hebrew originated scripture. But here we go, man. Why is his name Leo? Well, you're going to find out. But let's get into the very first thing I want to say. And I really do sincerely want to say thank you to each and every one of you that are donating members over on the Patreon, members of Patreon. Thank you for all the support. The majority of the work is over on the Patreon. Like-minded individuals. There's a community over there where you can, get into the chats. People are following the research, getting ahead of everything. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody over there on the Patreon. So without further ado, let's break down the just 4 topics of conversation for this presentation. The very first one, copperhead snake. Number 2, Christ's kingdom. Number 3, Aquarius. And the fourth and final topic, crypto. Yep, that's what this Pope is going to be ushering in. So let's get into the first topic now, copperhead snake. I want to kind of give you some obvious things here, which is kind of the overview of the Vatican. And let's start off with, let's go to the cards. What is his birth card? What's Robert's birth card? The 23rd card in the deck, the 10 of clubs. This card I know very well. My mother's card is the 10 of clubs. It sits in the Mars crown line. Heavy Mars energy. This energy is a very religious card. Another well-known name that had this, born on October 12th, Aleister Crowley. Kind of a different church. Do what thou will shall be the whole of the law. Something like that. I don't have it memorized. This is the 23rd card in the deck. Tied to the word blood, tied to the word crown, tied to the word history in numerology. Of course, this is the first United States born Pope, born out of the great city of Chicago. They got the best pizza, in my opinion. But let's show you where this 10 of clubs sits. This is off of my my Tower of Ra Decoded here, which if you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. And, you know, it's fascinating with these playing cards because you can label them over the chessboard. There's a reason why the Masons have the black and white checkerboard floor. Not because it's evil. I hope that all of you here watching this have graduated beyond that and labeling and all that kind of nonsense. I used to be one of those people. But anyway, and I'm not a Mason, by the way. So this 64 square grid is actually the magic square of Mercury. Mercury's magic square is an 8x8 grid, 64 squares. Just so you know, and you're going to see Mercury in this presentation because it's heavy in the astrological position. But these 10s, if you're one of these birth cards, they are the castles. Okay, they represent the walls. They represent building something, sustaining something. When the king gets into trouble, you can castle. It's a very special piece on the board, and it can go horizontally and vertically. It can cover up, 8 spaces across, 8 spaces going down. It literally creates the Mason's square. Okay, the square is created with the 10s. And the 10 of clubs is paired with the 10 of spades on the color of black. The white would be the red, obviously. The 10 of diamonds and 10 of hearts. So this man has the 10 of clubs, okay? And when I covered this in my Tower of Ra, I showed all of you that what was kind of mind-blowing is that in the major arcana of the tarot, the tower is right there, and it has lightning coming down and the top being blown off and people being blown out of it. And this was correlated to September 11th because in Genesis 9 verses 11, it talks about the Tower of Babel. And I already covered that in the breakdown of the astrological 9/11, okay, decoded. But the correlation was to Ra, this element radium, which I've been so fixated on for so long now, this 88, there's 88 keys on a piano. 88 constellations in the sky. There's so many correlations to this 88 and the 226, 88 miles an hour for time travel. This element has a lifespan, half-life of 1,600 years, and that's the address of Washington, D.C.'s White House, and Google's headquarters is 1600 Amphitheater Way. So Ra has a huge takeaway in all of this. This 88 will reduce down to the number 16. This is the 16th card. And then if you take 8 plus 8 and add up the 16, you're going to get 1 plus 6 and you'll get the 7. And that's the Chariot card, which is Ra. Okay. Ra moving across the sky. Okay. So this is what it's correlated to on the chessboard, and this man has it for his birth card. And again, this is a Mars in the card system. It's in the crown line, which is very, very important, and it's in the Mars position. Okay. Just so we can be very clear here. But what I wanted to also bring in is, the counterpart to that 10 of clubs on the black side is the 10 of spades, right? And this card, which is very fascinating, is the card that represents this year, 2025. Okay, and to get the image, it's the 10 of swords. Not a very fun-looking card, right? These are my favorite cards because this means the end, right? And when the end creates the beginning. But this is the card that governs 2025. And how you do that is you just take 2025 and you divide the total of the number of cards, 52, and then you just subtract and do the mathematical equations, which I've already shown, and I don't want to do that right now. But anyway, it becomes the 49th card in the deck. 2025 becomes the 10 of spades, which is the 49th card in the deck, and that turns into the 60th card in the deck. And just like that, we have this terminology called the head of the snake. Okay. And I want to be clear here, folks. You see that the Vatican was really founded, right? Their separation, their whatever they want to call it, their founding date, February 11th, 1929, which is 96 years ago. 1929 was the year of the snake. It was also when the Great Depression hit. The Great Depression hit, okay? And the year of the snake in Chinese is this year. And when you correlate it to tropical and sidereal astrology, the year of the snake is the year of the Virgin. It's the Virgin. It's Virgo, the mother. And this is where you get the woman and the snake. This is where you get Eve talking to the snake and the apple. Yep, because she's tied to the Virgin, the Virgo. Snake is the 6th Chinese sign. Virgo is the 6th astrology sign. So this is what the Vatican is tied to. And now we're getting into this. And what can I correlate? How can I support what I'm showing you? Remember, this is finished, done, final. The next stage is the Page of Swords, which you start to rewrite, which is going to be next year, 2026. We have a long way to go. If you're watching this on May 9th, this is when I'm shooting this, until we get to the end of the year. But I just want to be clear here that the year of the snake is the year that is attached to 1929, which is the Vatican City, and what their founding date is, February 11th, which is the Ace of Spades. So the snake and the Virgin go hand in hand. And we're going to probably see a lot of action during the month of September and October, which is Virgo. The Virgo time. Okay. We are in the year of the snake here. And what's so interesting about this snake and outside the Vatican City is here it is right here. It's the Paul Audience Hall. Paul the Sixth. I mean, do you see the snake eyes? I mean, it's not a secret. Hello. Well, they were founded on the year of the snake. Okay. This date. There's the snake eyes. There's the soul. This is all solar panels. This sits in between Rome and Vatican City. It's like half and half, I guess, is what they say. Half of it sits in Rome, half of it sits in Vatican City. And this is what it looks like on the inside from the stage perspective. Okay? A big snake, and here are the teeth. You can't miss it, man. It's obvious, okay? So now you know that the Vatican was founded on the year of the snake, which is the year of Virgo and the Virgin, which is the largest constellation in the night sky. And there's their snake, and it's called Paul the Sixth Audience Hall. And it's tied to the copperhead snake, okay, which is a pit viper. And it has the hourglass right on it. And copper, okay, is very electrical. Maybe you have a copper bracelet or you have a copper vessel that you drink out of. But what's so interesting is that this hall has a seating capacity of 6,300 people, and there's the most abundant isotope of copper, 63. Okay? This right here. And this number is tied to some big things in numerology. If I just go to numerology and we type in non-player character, that's 63. We also have the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is what 90% of our brain supposedly works through, which we only use 10%. Subconscious mind, non-player character, copper top, the batteries, Duracell. We're living inside of a battery. We are batteries. It's tied to the snake. It's tied to the serpent. And now you know why this thing is a serpent and why they were founded in 1929, right before the Great Depression happened, 6 months later in the month of October. And we are going to be coming into the month of October, and we are the year of Virgo. We're repeating this, folks. The Great Depression happened when Vatican City was established. Okay? Are you seeing this? And now we usher in Pope Leo. Okay, so we're just starting this thing off with a bang. I'm just getting warmed up here. Just getting warmed up. Okay, I'm just getting warmed up. Let's connect a few more fun things so you can see how all the theological stuff, and you can have your oohs and ahs, and how Christianity is Judaism and Catholicism is Judaism, and they're one and the same. And I don't care if you want to label yourself a Christian, you're Jewish. Okay, because they're one and the same. All right, you can just slice or dice it any way you want, but that doesn't matter. They're all this. They all worship the same exact God. They all pledge to the same energy. Okay, and it goes much deeper than you possibly can imagine if you're not a code breaker. But Bethlehem is 67, which is exactly the numerology of the Yod Elohim. This is the official title that God goes by in Genesis 2 verses 4. Yahweh Elohim. Let us make man in our image is Elohim, but it's Yahweh Elohim, the God of the Bible. So the 67 is a direct match. Bethlehem. And what is the star of Bethlehem? It's the star of Venus. So if you go out there and you go and do your present giving and you do your Christmas stuff and all that fun stuff, just know that the star of Bethlehem that the three wise men chased around, yeah, it's the star of Venus. And why is Venus the star of Bethlehem? Because Jesus is about love, and that's what Venus is, and that's what the morning star is. And it's tied to the element copper because copper's alchemical placement is Venus. And copper is the 3 of diamonds, the 29th card, which turns into the 3 of pentacles, which is the 67th card. And just like that, we have the connections finalized here. Now, how I know this to be supportive like crazy is the fact that you see the nativity of Mary, Queen Mary, Mary, the mother of Jesus. They give her the nativity, her birthday, on the 8th of September. The church does. I didn't give this to her, but that's what they gave it to. And you know what the 8th of September card is? The 3 of diamonds, card number 29. Right there is copper. It's the copperhead. Okay? It's the copperhead, folks. The copperhead snake. That's why all these numbers match up this way. This is what you're dealing with. Okay? Just so you know. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I don't care. I don't care about the adjectives. I'm just giving you the code. So now you know what's going on. Now you have the keys to see what this is all about. So if you're somebody who does all this Jesus and Christmas stuff and Easter and all that stuff, now you know what it's tied to. Okay? The snake. Now you know what the serpent's tied to. Jesus and his mother. You know, this is Mary, the Queen of Heaven. Okay? That's what all this stuff's tied to. The Virgin Mary. Yeah, who's the virgin on the zodiac wheel? Virgo. This one right here. The Virgin. 1929 is the year of the Virgin, which is the year of the snake. It's the snake meets the Virgin. It's the Eve and serpent story, folks. Okay, you can't miss it now, man. It's all connected, and now you have the eyes to see this. But it's tied to Venus, man. The morning star, which is what Jesus says. But anyway, let's get into the second topic now and get into this. I needed to start you off with that so you can see the backbone of the Vatican Church, because this is going to lead right into this man right here and the kingdom of Christ. Oh yeah, because he's going to bring it right back. Of course, that's why we're seeing this resurgence of religion and the dogma and all that stuff because of this man. Now, this man's from Chicago, the first pope born out of the United States, and he's born out of the great city of Chicago. Best pizza in the world, if you ask me. Chicago deep dish. Oh yeah. Chicago's latitude, longitude tells me everything I needed to know because I have these words memorized. Chicago, 41 degrees north, 87 degrees west. 41 degrees north. There's the Elohim. Let us make man in our image. And 87 degrees west. There's the original spelling from the Greek scriptures in the New Testament from Matthew of Jesus. Okay? Jesus. I am the light of the world. This guy is Pope Leo, and Leo's ruler is the sun. Christ, the kingdom of Christ coming in hot at you. And when I did my All Roads Lead to Rome Decoded, I showed using their own cipher, their own language, the Latin. Their famous spelling is 179, and that through mathematics is a prime number which matches their latitude north. And that's right, the Vatican City. And this is a big deal. The Vatican City being 41 is exactly the same latitude as Chicago. The 41 is tied to the word crux, which is the word cross in Latin, and that's their huge symbol. And then why I have this letter Y and T here is because, see, Jesus makes this letter Y, and he sits across the letter T. See, 41, 41, 41, 41. Let us make man in our image. And Chicago's 41 degrees, and this man's the first pope from the United States, just so happens to be from the great city of Chicago. Yeah, okay. Completely scripted reality here. Easy to see. But then it goes deeper than that, you see. Now we get into Exodus, the Old Testament, and the New Testament at the same time. This is off of Matthew, the New Testament, chapters 1, verses 1 through 16, and this is the 42 generations of the Christ. You see, 42 generations. See, Jesus is number 42. You start with Abraham, right? I am the offspring of the Abraham starts it all off. And you go all the way down. And what's so amazing is, you see, Jesus doesn't have a dad. So Mary becomes the vessel. This is how they have it listed in the New Testament. She's number 41. And wouldn't you know it, that the word womb in the Old Testament, from Exodus 13 verses 12, where the only time the word, they turned it into the word matrix, but it's the womb, right? This word is an exact match to that 41. Boy, how about that? And Mary has the Immaculate Conception, and yeah, and the 41 is tied to the Vatican City, their latitude, just tied to the cross. And it's also tied to Chicago's latitude north, which is where this man's from. Yeah, okay. Come on, man. This is synchronized so crazy. It's ridiculous. Bringing back the Christ energy. Yeah. Yep. Ushering in the age of Aquarius, because that's what's coming in. And then the 42, of course, the Christ. We now get into mainstream, and you know that hit series, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, well, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is going down the womb, going down the portal, going down into the matrix, spirit into matter, to play the game of life, where you get reincarnated. See, Jesus being the number 42, because, see, the game of Jesus is about reincarnation. That's why life, the universe, everything is about the number 42, because it's about the 42 generations of Jesus Christ. He is number 42. From the womb of Mary, which of course is tied to the Virgin. which is called Virgo. And we're now in the sign of Virgo. We're in the year of Virgo, which is the year of the snake. So the snake is tied to the matrix. Okay, so now you know that that's all this stuff's tied to. And here's just kind of an overview that reincarnation is a match to eternal life. And you see, that's the interesting part about the serpent and Jesus, is that the serpent tells you you won't die. And that's exactly what Jesus offers you, is eternal life, which I just don't see the difference between the two. And we have the lake of fire being the 42, where it burns forever and ever. Yeah, that's called Earth. And this is the card of Jesus Christ, his birthday. Because if you take December 25th, the official day that everybody celebrates Christmas on, well, mostly everybody, I don't, but December 25th is the Six of Hearts, which is this card right here, the Six of Cups. And this is where you'll never remember. You get reincarnated and you get amnesia, and you'll just chase the woman, and the woman wants to get chased, and it's all about procreation. It's all about love, which is what the Christ teaches you, which is beautiful, right? I'm not dissing that. I'm not belittling these elements and these layers, but this is what this 42 is all about. The 42 is all about just doing this over and over and over, because this guy right here is trying to get some. I mean, that's just, let's just be real, man. That's what this whole story is all about. Right? It's all about humping and procreation, which keeps the game of life going. But anyway, it also comes into play about this, because as I already had alluded to, that, and I had a whole breakdown on the Patreon, you can go watch, called Venus Jesus Decoded. And I broke it all down. And you see, this is what Jesus is all about. He's all about love. Okay? And as it should be, because that's what wins the game of life. And we need to be loving each other, and we need to be neutral to the things we don't love. But Venus is the only symbol, except with Mercury, that have spirit, which is the circle, into the cross of matter. But Mercury has that as well. Mercury has the same symbol, just it's kind of interesting. It has the crescent, but the little devil horns here. Mercury is the way you think, and Venus is the way you love. Put the two together, and what does that spell for you? Well, it spells eternal life, because the Ankh is the symbol of Venus. 1,000%. That's why this offers you eternal life. So Jesus offers you eternal life, which he comes from the Egyptian pantheon. He comes from the Horus, Ra, Set, Osiris. It's all from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. But that's for a different story. But that's what this whole thing's about. That's why the morning star, which is what Jesus is about love, which segues into the sun, which is light, love and light. Okay. So this man, what's so fascinating about Pope Leo is his name numerology. I was blown away at this because, like, these are my two standards that I look at. Chaldean being my first standard, English, the A through Z. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. And wouldn't you know it, his birth certificate name becomes the number 80 in Chaldean numerology, which there's that Mercury. Oh yeah, and there's that. If you want to know why Pope Francis was staying in suite number 201, well, it's because he's tied to Mercury. And Mercury is the messenger. What do you think the Pope is? The Pope is the messenger of the church. It's got the spirit with the cross, spirit into matter, getting the messages. But then he also, in the English, he has the freaking 263, which is tied to Venus, because Venus spends 263 days as the morning star and returns for another 263 days as the evening star. So the dude literally has, this man, which I'm sure he's an amazing guy, he literally has Venus and Mercury in his name numerology. And these are the only two that have the spirit into matter symbol. How about that? Is this just a mere coincidence? No, you see, this is how tight this code continues to get. It's going to get tighter. You're going to start to see more bombs come out. It's going to become easier and easier because we're getting closer and closer. As I say, we're all decoding ourselves home. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right, so let's get into the next topic now. And now we're going to get into Aquarius. That was the snake Now we're going to get into Aquarius, which is what this man's going to usher in with the church. Absolutely. So this is the big takeaway, right? This is Jesus talking to the apostles and them saying, hey, where should we go for the Passover? Passing over. So Jesus says, hey, when you go into the city, and the city is the whole astrological wheel, that's the city. All 12 houses is the city. And he says, there's going to be a man that bearing a pitcher of water. That's Aquarius, holding the pitcher of water. Follow him into the house of Aquarius, where he goes into. So the city is the entire 12 zodiac signs. And then the man bearing a pitcher of water is Aquarius, and the house is the house of Aquarius. That's what this topic is. So this is off of the breakdown of the cosmic timelines that I just came out with. Part 1, I'm going to be coming out with part 2. But right here is kind of the staple, the default, the standard of what the astrological chart's going to look like. We're moving into the 4 fixed signs from Ezekiel 1 verses 10 in the Old Testament. We're moving into the ox, lion, eagle, man. The ox obviously is Taurus, the man is Aquarius, the lion is Leo, and the eagle is Scorpio. Scorpio used to be known as the eagle. And these are the 4 cardinal points. We're moving into a fixed age right here. We're moving into the age where it's going to be thinking first, not feelings. Pisces was feelings and belief and trust and salvation and faith. No, you got to prove it to me. We're going into the I know. We're going into the high intellect. And this is where we're going to have the awakening, the revolution, you see. These are all the letter J. And what does Jesus' first letter start with in the English? See, these are the knights. These are the knights. I told you the knights that they go into battle. You see, I talked all about this in the cosmic timelines. I'm not going to get into this too much here, but we have the Knight of Swords, which is the card of revolution. Okay, the revolution card. We have the Jack of Hearts. This is interesting because the architect of the universe, casted by Helmut Bacchitis from the Matrix, he was the Jack of Hearts card. And now that's what we're moving into, the architect here. Okay, and I already covered all the cosmic timelines, but this is the Aquarian age and Aquarius will be taking center stage at that rising position. If we're talking about the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, this would be how it looks, with Taurus at the top. Leo across the way. You see, it's Pope Leo. Pope Leo is sitting across from Aquarius, influencing, being influenced by. You have all these 5s that are going to be influencing the age of Aquarius. And this is a lot of busy energy. Okay? 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 senses. It's going to be influencing these jacks, which are the knights that go into battle. Okay? Very crafty energy here. So that leads me into his astrological chart here, okay? And I'm not going to go too crazy about the definitions here because we could easily break down and spend an hour on talking about what this whole thing means. But what I really just want to kind of cover are the highlights of this man's astrological chart. I'm going to start up here. He was born on September 14th, 1955. 69 years young, he gets instituted as the Pope. Remember that the Vatican is 96 years old, a mirror of that. And his birth card is the 10 of clubs, which is this card right here, which is the card of DNA, which is about the tribes of Dan in the Old Testament, Dan, DNA. But his spirit card really is the big takeaway. It's the Jack of Spades, which is that Knight of Swords, which is right here where the rising position is going to get taken over. It hasn't fully, I don't think it's fully reached its final stage of being here. I think there's still an overlap of Piscean energy we still see on the world stage today, but I think that it's going to get there, and that's why I have that Knight of Swords there. And this man has this as his spirit card. Okay, he has a 5 life path. His solar life path now is the number 5. September becomes the 7th month because March is the 1st month. That's a solar life path. So September 14th, 1955 is going to add up to the number 95, which reduces down to the number 5. 5, the 5th house, is all Leo. Okay, I'm using the most accurate astrology system you can use today called Mastering the Zodiac off of Ethan's website, masteringthezodiac.com. Okay, this man is heavily stacked in Leo energy. Look at what he's got here. He's got his Zeus here. He's got his Hades Pluto here. He has his moon here. He has his Mars here. He has his sun here. Now, I don't know. I don't have his birth time. So what you're seeing, the houses right here, I probably don't have them accurate, the house positions. But where these celestials sit, they will not change. The rising sign may change. So he may not be a Leo rising, but these celestial activities or these positions, they will remain the same. So he is literally stacked with 5 different planetary influences in the sign of Leo, which is sitting across from the rising position of Aquarius. And this is the fixed cross we're moving into for this age of Aquarius. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this is that his Aphrodite, his Venus, and his Mercury, they both sit in the sign of Virgo. There it is right there. There is his Venus. There is his Mercury in Virgo. Folks, again, what's ruling this year in the Chinese zodiac? The snake. And what is the snake in Chinese? The 6th sign. What is Virgo? The 6th sign. The guy literally has Venus, spirit into matter, and spirit into matter, the way you love and the way you think, Mercury and Venus in the 6th sign. We are in the 6th sign this year. 2025 is all Virgo energy. Okay. But this man is stacked in the sign of Leo, which matches his life path. And he is going to take this energy and he is going to thrust it across the way. It's literally staring over at this bare, empty zodiac sign of Aquarius, which is the social house, friendships and humanitarianism. And folks, his sun is here. The Helios, the sun. We know how big, listen, you know what Christ means? The sun. Christ comes from the word Creo, which means gold, which is the sun. Jesus, on the other hand, is tied to Venus. Big difference. Jesus was the man. This is the man. Spirit into matter. This is the Christos, the sun. And the light is going to, the light is going to shine across the way, man, for this man with the Vatican right here, across the way. He has his Mars here as well, man, very motivated to do this. You know, his 10 of clubs, this is the teacher's card. This is a guy who climbs the mountain of understanding, and now he speaks from the top of the summit. And this reflects his chart is all Leo, basically. He's Leo heavy, man. He's not just going to be a ruler of the church. He's going to be a guardian of divine thought. He's going to deliver his truth with a lot of theatrics. Because Leo is, I'm in the spotlight. He was destined to be in the spotlight. This is Spotlight City. Oh yeah, man. And his son's there. The son feels so comfortable here. So he is a guardian of divine thought with the 10 of clubs, because he's a castle. This is a castle. And the castles build the walls. So he's a guardian of divine thought. He's going to live in the life of being in theatrics. He's going to throw a lot of wisdom. And behind that, his spirit card is the damn Jack of Spades, which is the card of revolution. So because these jacks are the knights and they're like the movers between worlds and all that stuff, this jack is like a secret initiate. It's a spiritual warrior. I mean, in chess terms, folks, he's the guy who's going to leap on it. You're going to see a lot of unexpected moves, I think. Because the jacks, they move silently behind the veil, right? They're the knights. The knight is the only piece that can move in that L-shaped. L. And L is the word for God. God's all the pieces, but the knight goes into battle. And you're going to probably see a lot of dismantling. A lot of dismantling, because this is the card of revolution. He's got the revolution card for a spirit card. So this castle and the knight, okay, tied together with the crown, makes this Pope, man, he's more than just a leader. It makes him like a living bridge. He's going to build new castle walls. And he holds in his hand the power of the sun, man, the sun in Leo, right? But he's going to listen to this pulse of Aquarius over here. Absolutely, because this is the future. And he's going to shine his light down on this Aquarian energy over here, right? Now, the Aquarius ruler is Uranus, and he's got his Uranus in the sign of Cancer. Folks, this is how crazily scripted this is. This man is 69 years young right now, and Cancer's got the symbol of 69. Uranus is in there, and Uranus is the father of Aquarius, the owner of Aquarius. And I have these keywords here because Cancer means home. So he's literally establishing a home. It's going to be attached to this sign of Aquarius. He's literally creating this home. That's what he's doing. He's rooting the future in the Cancerian energy, like emotional legacy, like the maternal care of the church as a home. That's what he's trying to do here. And he has a lot of sacred tools of service and detail and humility with all the placements he has. He has Poseidon in Virgo, which is being a cosmic parent. He's got the way he speaks as being a cosmic parent. He's got the way he loves as a cosmic parent. This is all precision, Virgo. And this is the church, man. The Vatican is Virgo, the virgin, the woman, the queen of heaven, the snake. This is the woman and the snake, man, in the garden. I'm telling you. So this dude, he's a teacher. This is a teacher card. That's what he is. He's got his Rahu. He has his Rahu in Ophiuchus, which is the spiritual alchemist, the serpent alchemist. And he's got his Pallas there, his wisdom. The asteroid Pallas is right there, which was Zeus's favorite, Pallas Athena, right? In Ophiuchus. The highest form of alchemy you can get. I mean, this, folks, whether you were religious or not, if you appreciate astrology, man, you'll appreciate what I'm telling you here. This is not doom and gloom. You got to rise above that, because clearly he's here to bring the church back. He's a healer and teacher, and he's going to transmute the energy. I'm telling you, that's what he's got. The sun in Leo. This is the return of the Christ. Come on, man. He's Pope Leo, and he's got the sun in Leo. This ain't going to work in tropical astrology, I tell you that, because the sun's going to be in Virgo. No. Sun's in Leo, man. That's why they named him Pope Leo. Got to get with the program, man. This is the true sidereal, the true map of the stars. Pope Leo, because he's the sun in Leo. Tropical puts him in Virgo. Nope, doesn't work. So he's got a lot of shining to do. He's got his sun and moon there. Moon's the way he feels, romancing the public. He has his Mars to be the great dictator of the light. This is all light energy, right? He's not afraid to go into battle with the light. His Pluto, the god of the underworld, is there. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the big granddaddy of them all, he's got his freaking Jupiter. Jupiter, Zeus in Leo. Zeus is there to expand your consciousness in your chart. Well, what does Zeus want to do here? Zeus is the ruler of the church. He's going to expand the church again. Zeus. He's going to expand the church, man, with this dude, Pope Leo. I promise you that's what's going to happen with all of this. This is what he's been called to do. Okay? From the great city of Chicago, man. If you're a fan of astrology, man, you'll completely appreciate what this says about this person. He's got his Chiron in Sagittarius. When you rise above your wound, you'll end up becoming a catalyst for it. And this is the church. This is ruled by Jupiter. So he's going to take the wound of people. He's going to try to segue them right back into this solar position right here where Jupiter is. Because Jupiter runs Sagittarius. Usher them all in here. And it's all good. This is all going to get forced into this Aquarius, which I'm telling you folks, this is transhumanism, but that's for a different story. Okay? Because that's what's coming on the next on the world stage. The light is going to go down here into Aquarius, and it's going to get absorbed by Uranus, who's already setting up the home right here. Okay. Let alone he's got his Chronos and Libra. This is relationships. He's got a karmic tie to establishing relationships here. This is like a magnificent chart, man. Again, I have no ill will towards any person living on the world stage. I'm not even religious, but I have a respect and I have an admiration for astrology and the cards and the life path and numerology. And when you look at it this way, there's no ugliness to it really. You know, there's just this guy and he's not even in control of his life. Right? We're not in control of our lives. We're just living. This is the blueprint, the owner's manual. That's why it's so important to decode yourself to see what your astrological chart looks like, how you're scripted, how you're coded, what your cards are. I mean, he's Pope the 14th. He was born on the 14th. I mean, how many more synchronicities do we need to see? The 14th. The word God is 14. How much more do we need to see? Here. All right, let's keep going. I have a little bit more to show you. Let's get into the last and final topic now of crypto. Right? The last and final topic of crypto. Let's just simply take the latitude, longitude, and you should do this with yours, where you're currently at, where you were born and raised. See if you can't find these numbers somewhere in your code breaking process. But Chicago is the 128 when you add it up. We already know 41 is Elohim and 87 is Jesus. He's here to usher in the Christ. There it is. It's right there. You can't miss it. But now he's going to usher in the crypto because the Jesus era is going to be cryptocurrency. Okay? And this 128, I already knew what this number means. Okay? Because then it was from this documentary. Have you ever seen this documentary called Cryptopia? There's actually, I think there's 2 or 3 of them now. And I remembered seeing this. This is, I'm telling you, ushering in the crypto age, folks, because during this documentary, they show this part where this person is walking down and then they're going to open up one of these lockers. And what number locker are they going to open up to put the crypto inside of? 821. There it is, opening it up. There it is. They open it up. It's 821, which is this. I'm telling you, folks, this is how you break the code. This is how whatever created this reality has structured the code. Okay? And we're at the current stage of the now moment. That's all that matters. The past is gone. What matters the most is right now. And we're code breaking it. And the 128 is tied to the 821. This man right here is going to usher in the cryptocurrency age. It's already here, but to make it official. Okay? To make it official, folks. And I already broke this down on the Crypto Kingdom Decoded, and I talked about how Revelation 21 verses 1, there will be no more sea. That's because the sea is Pisces. We're moving out of that. We're moving into exclusivity of the age of Aquarius, and across the way is Leo, which is where we have Pope Leo, okay? And this is the hourglass, and the hourglass sits right over there, the astrological position. I talked about the sun not being illuminated anymore, and neither of the moon, because the light of the God and the Lamb will illuminate it and all that kind of stuff. This is the age of Aquarius, ladies and gentlemen. The Christ moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the crypto kingdom. And I did 2 decodes, 2 important decodes on this, on the YouTube, on the public YouTube. And this was all about the age of Leo, or the sign of Leo, and having it in a symbiotic relationship with the age of Aquarius. These are 2 fixed signs, and these are the 2 signs that sit literally across from the ascending and descending on the astrological chart. And one's ruled by the sun, the other one's ruled by Uranus. Uranus. And what's so interesting about this, and mind-blowing, is you can spell out the word Uranus. It has its own element. Everything comes from Uranus. It is a primordial. Everything emanates from Uranus. Everything decays from Uranus. Lead 206 comes from Uranus. Lead is tied to Saturn. Saturn is time, stuck in time. You see, spirit in time. So you have Uranus spelled out, and when you add up all of the neutrons, protons, and electrons of Uranus, there's the Ra, you get 1,043. You just dropped the zero, and I knew what that meant, and it's this element called neodymium. This is where you're going to get the Neo character in The Matrix. And what did Neo do in the movie The Matrix? He saved humanity from the machines. The Neo, he was the Jesus character, saving mankind from the machines, making a bargain, making a deal with them. But this is 60th element. And it just goes right back to the card that governs 2025. It is the 10 of Swords. Remember, this is a castle on the chessboard. It is establishing a wall. Establishing a wall. Uranus. This right here. And if you've been paying it, if you're on Patreon, you know what this 143 is tied to. Revelation 3 verses 16. I'm not going to get into that because you got to get on the Patreon for that. But this synchronicity is absolutely a humdinger, and it's massive. It's massive. And I'll reiterate this slide, which I already showed. Remember, the Vatican City was founded on February 11th, 1929, the year of the snake. We are entering in the head of the snake. And that's what it's tied to. That's what Ra's tied to. That's what Jesus is tied to. That's what Lucifer's tied to. That's what all the planetary positions are tied to. And this is what the year of the snake is going to look like for 2025. 2026, we get into the Page of Swords and we start to rewrite stuff. But we have a long way to go. Today is May 9th. We have a long way to go until the end of the year. And I'm not here to sell you fear. I'm actually excited about this year because there's transformation that's coming in, massive change. That's what a snake does. It sheds its skin. Vatican City was founded on a snake year. We are in a snake year. And we're now seeing this decode, folks. So this is coming in, the World Economic Forum. Here's a little bit extra stuff for you. Klaus Schwab, his full birth certificate name with his mother's maiden name on the back end, that's a 92. You don't think these people know that? 92 is Uranus. Okay, the World Economic Forum, 92. And it wasn't just that, folks. It's the fact that the World Economic Forum equals 84. And the orbital period of Uranus is 84 years. Boy, that's just a pure coincidence, right? No, so this man's name is 92. The World Economic Forum is 84. And even the fact that this right here, and we just go right back to the Old Testament. I am that I am. This is Moses talking to God now at the burning bush. Exodus. What should I tell the Israelites? Who are you? I am that I am. Yeah. Well, Uranus, you know what Uranus means? Heaven. It means heaven. Okay? When heaven comes down, man, Uranus is the OG primordial who is going to rule over the age of Aquarius. Whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you have a bitterness about it, whether you have a pleasurable look out on it, this is what religion's tied to. It's tied to astral theology, etc., etc. The I am that I am. And it's, this is my last slide here. This is Exodus 3 verses 14. And it's 3 verses 14 when God said to Moses, I am who I am. And 314 is the total addition of the neutrons, protons, and electrons of Ra. Radium. Right there is Uranus. But you comes first. Heaven. So you literally have heaven and then Ra, which Ra now is becoming so many things, but we know Ra is tied to the Christ. But if you're a fan of Jason's work, Brashears over at Archaics, you know how big that 138 is. Well, that's because it's tied to Ra. This is what's tied to the Phoenix event right here. I promise. And it's tied to this. It's tied to theology, whether we like it or not. That's what all this stuff is all about. So there you go. Pope Leo. Remember, Leo is the sign of Leo in astrology. He's got a 5 life path. Leo is the 5th sign. He's stacked in Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun. He has his sun in Leo, only in true sidereal. MasteringTheZodiac.com is the website to use for that. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you. The breakdown of Pope Leo the 14th. Exciting times ahead. It's all about planning and strategically looking and just being along for the ride. And my suggestion is turning off the mainstream and minimizing yourself on the mainstream. Life becomes so much more glorious when you can just focus on you and your children and your husband and wife and boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is in your life that you are interested in, your pets. Focus on that. Focus on your bliss there. And I think that's the way to go in life. But anyway, complete. Pope the 14th, Leo the 14th, Decoded. Would love to hear your comments. Keep them cordial because, again, folks, it's all about love in here, man, really. I won't tolerate any belligerent, messages and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to agree, but, let's just have fun here. This is what this whole channel is about now. Just having fun. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time. We will. See you later.